Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is part of Star Wars Saturdays, which occasionally happens on a Sunday, where for the Gauntlet community, which is this online group of indie, small press, and OSR tabletop role playing games, it's a huge community. We gather together and play games all the time. 100 or so games every month on the calendar with folks across the world who hop on things like Zoom, like this, and we'll play a tabletop RPG together. And Star Wars Saturdays is this ongoing anthology campaign I've been running for coming up on 4 years now for the Gauntlet expressly, and it's great. What I do is I take a different RPG and I'll shave off the edges or just drop it into the galaxy of Star Wars so that we can get together for that month and create characters and tell a story. And occasionally we'll have, like, it's an anthology game, so characters will come from other previous games and be reinterpreted in different systems, which is cool to see. Hey, this is the remix version of so and so. I love that. And there are also folks that might be legacy characters that are attached to other folks, that someone, I like this character that I played, I want to play their cousin or whatever. Or it could be someone brand new just dropping into the situation. We have a little bit of all of that this time as we are kicking off our series called Of a Game of Spirit of 77. Now, Spirit of 77 is not a game made for Star Wars, although listening to Mike Fernando, I believe I may have screwed up the pronunciation of his last name. So Mike was talking about on a recent episode of the Gauntlet podcast about Spirit of 77. I'm like, oh, I used to like that game. I just haven't run it in a while, and I've never run it in Star Wars. And Star Wars came out in 1977, so it seemed like a thing that we should try. So we are. This is a very light reskin of Spirit of 77 to be played in Star Wars. The time setting for Star Wars Saturdays right now is about a year and a half or so after Emperor Palpatine was defeated, fell down a hole in Death Star 2 that blew up. So he's obviously gone, never coming back. The New Republic is growing. I'm pulling in a little bit of some of the expanded universe stuff because I still want Stormies. So I'm using the idea of Zinj's Empire, this warlord who refused. He's like, oh, Palpatine dead? Bummer. Empire's still good. I'm going to be a warlord of the Empire. And he had a huge swath of the galaxy still under the control of his iron fist. We are playing on a planet that was originally introduced in, I believe, Knights of the Old Republic. It is, okay, Will, what's the word for a city world?
Ecumenopolis.
Thank you, Undish. I'm that word. I have a block on that word. I don't understand. I need to put it up on my monitor, just like right there. Just tape it up because invariably I will screw it up. One of those things that Undish said, fuck. A city, a whole world, this one big city that was originally created in Knights of the Old Republic. I love it because it's like Coruscant, but stuff broke. And there are 3 main levels of Terrace, Taris. I say Terrace because, like, Paris. I believe that's how it's pronounced in Knights of the Old Republic. I just reinstalled that on Steam, so I'm going to plan on replaying it because I want to get into some of the Terrace levels again. It's been a long time. So you have an upper level where it's mostly humans, a lot of imperial officials, lots of rich folks, nobles, and the like. There's a middle city of Terrace, which is where the majority of decent folk go and live. And then there's Lower Terrace. Lower Terrace is where often the slums and the brothels and the rough and tumble folks, the very grimy 70s New York style of Terrace is probably Lower City. And then there is Undercity Terrace, but we don't talk about that. No one goes there. No one goes there. It's fine. There are swoop gangs, which are biker gangs, but on flying swoop speeder bike deals. There are Hut cartel gangs and even members of the Black Sun. It's a rough and tumble place, perfect for Spirit of 77. we have just gone through character creation for 3 of the 4 players. Our 4th player won't be joining us. That'll be Greg. For the first session, Greg will be joining us for the 2nd through 4th sessions of our series. But we have created characters, and we're going to introduce them to each other and work out relationships between each of these characters called hooks. I'm very excited to hear about what hooks we create. Now, there are hooks suggested in the roles, but if you want to remix it and talk through a different kind of hook, that's fine with me, absolutely. And as people introduce their characters for first timers to Spirit of 77, it's a Powered by the Apocalypse game where you combine 2 different half playbooks. So there are all kinds of interesting and fun combinations. Now, I have weeded out a few of the Spirit of 77 playbooks that are great for a 70s pastiche game, but less great for a Star Wars game. So X-Tech and a few of the other role and story playbooks are not here. And I actually pulled some that felt really Star Warsy, mostly because Undish reminded me that they're there, giving Undish some credit for that exist in some of the world of 77. Spirit of 77 is a whole thing. Like, it's very trad, and there's a whole treadmill of like modules and ventures and expansions and the like. Dave Kizia and Monkey Fun Studios have really expanded Spirit of 77, or at least they did a number of years ago when the game was one of the things that they were actively publishing. So lots of stuff that I can mine for, pulled it all together, and that's what we have. Let's go into our character keeper and have folks introduce themselves, and we'll introduce ourselves as people, and then we'll go back around and introduce characters. And as you, after all the characters have been introduced, we'll snake order, and the person who goes last in introducing their character will offer up hooks to the other 2. What we're going to have is, I'd like to have each PC have a hook with each of the other 2 PCs. So we'll start off with the leftmost, which is Andesh. If you could introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I'm Anders. I use the he, him pronouns. I've been on the gauntlet for like a couple of years now. It's like a few months before the start of the pandemic, so it's in the before time. Yeah, I played several of these Star Wars Saturday games. It's always a lot of fun.
Andesh is far too modest. Andesh has been running the longest like Star Wars Saturdays series in the history of it. One game of Blaze in the Dark, where he took Blaze in the Dark, hacked it to Stars in the Dark, and it's now up to 28 sessions. Great, 28 sessions. Will looks jealous. Steven, you're up next. If you can introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Steven, and my pronouns are he, him. I've been playing with the Gauntlet a lot, mostly lately a lot of Star Wars, so I've been playing with Star Wars, I think, since the beginning. So, yay, Star Wars Saturdays and Sundays.
And Sundays and other days that we'll pretend are Saturdays. And last but certainly not least, Will.
Hey, my name is Will, pronouns he, him, and yes, I've been playing with the Gauntlet since May 2019, I think. And yeah, I've run Star Wars Saturdays, Sundays, weekend days, whatever they're called, Cartel and Bounty of the Week, and always love to bring back one of my characters and crowbar them into another series.
Speaking of crowbarring, let's go ahead and have you tell us about your character, Will.
Cool. I am playing Inez, who was formerly a supporting NPC of Steven's street level thug, and then became a supporting NPC of his drug lord Kingpin, and then stabbed him in the back and became the drug lord / lover of riches PC, before disappearing off into a Rust Hooks game where she was on the run as a thief in that one, and now she's come back as a dual blaster wielding vigilante looking for hard vengeance against the cartel, who will not let her leave and have ruined the life of one too many young Twi'lek women in this galaxy, and now she's going to take them down.
Take them down. Love it. Steven, tell us about your character, please.
So today I'm playing Drew Thal, who is a Bith. Those are the Cantina aliens with like the little clarinet looking things, which is called a clue horn. Um, and I play music. I'm the rocker and all-star playbooks, but basically, I'm the naive farm kid. I was on a Nerf farm herding Nerfs, and um, didn't like the farm life and thought I could make it big in the big city. So I came to Terrace. I think I'm playing in like some clubs, and I've gotten a little bit of a following, so I have a few groupies. And um, let's see, is there anything else that's important? Um, I'm naive and I'm playing in uh, bands now. I'm like a DJ kind of thing. And oh, adventure. I'm just looking to, see the rest of the universe and, get away from like small town life.
Great. Now, question about the Nerf herding. Did you imagine that was somewhere on the planet of Terrace, or is he from a more agrarian planet somewhere?
I think he's from a more agrarian planet that he tried to get away from.
Cool.
And, he's not that thrilled with violence. I think so one of the gear I chose was like a butcher vibro knife, but I think he's embarrassed. He doesn't want to pull that thing out and, threaten anyone because, that's his past life.
Nice. And then did you have an idea? You picked All-Star, so he was an athlete of some kind. Was that back home, or was that when you first got here?
So I think that was back home, and the tilt that I'm going with that is that in order to be a good Nerf herder, you have to be able to jump around and get, through the cages and through I imagine it's more of a rocky kind of situation, grasslands with rocks. So I took an aptitude of parkour.
Nice.
For him to emphasize that he's like jumping around and doing that kind of thing. Yeah.
Awesome. And kind of imagining that maybe there are Nerf rodeos of some kind back home. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. And I looked this, when we looked this up, Nerfs in the Star Wars universe are sort of like buffalo.
Right. Thank you for that explanation, to make sure that folks are like, wait, I've heard that Nerf herder joke. But yeah, they are canon buffalo, basically space buffalo. Awesome. Thank you so much, Stephen. Last but not least, Andesh, if you could introduce us to your character.
Yeah, I'm playing Desica's Hermit, unknown species, near human. She is a glam sleuth, so she's a detective. She's kind of a celebrity detective. I think she like broke a big case where the imps were just trying to go for the convenient suspect, but she broke the case and proved that it was someone completely different. So she's got a little bit of fame from that, but she's probably not too popular with the Imperials. So she's a very cool customer. She dresses in an outlandish fashion, and she's pretty smart.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that case, because that is super interesting to me. Are you imagining this was a murder case? Was it some kind of missing person case? What do you think
Yeah, I think it was like a kidnapping, like some probably a kidnapping, and they were trying to frame someone who they said had killed this person, the person who was kidnapped. But I managed to find and save them.
Ooh, okay. Do you imagine so the imps were trying to frame someone else? Was this because it was a big case, everyone's heard about it? Is it a socialite of some renown, or was it some young innocent kid or waif? Who was the kidnappee?
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, I think it was it was, if this is okay with everyone, it was like a child of someone who was like politically inconvenient, like they're an opposition politician or something. So the imps weren't really interested in solving it, but the parents are famous, so that's kind of why it became a big thing.
That's
But it's
cool.
also it's right now she's riding on this temporary fame, but that's not going to last because people will forget about it.
It's sadly true. It's sadly true. Desicus will have to come up with some. She's got to chase the next big thing. All right, we're snake ordering our hooks. So Desicus, what hook would you like to offer up? We'll have you offer up both hooks. And if a hook that you suggest out to someone else, they're like, oh yeah, can I do this? They can mention their hook that they were thinking about as well.
Yeah, the one that's obvious and I think would go to MS is I might be the brains, but X makes it happen. If that's okay with Will.
Yeah, that sounds good. I was gonna go with that Desicus knows something I need.
Cool.
Cool.
So should I do the one for Steven?
Yeah, go ahead and do the
well?
one you thought you were thinking about for Drew.
Yeah, I haven't really figured out which one. There's two that are kind of similar. Babysitting X is a full-time job, and I need to keep X out of trouble. I think the second one is better, like because I see Drew as this, or Jessica sees Drew as this sort of naive farm boy who doesn't know the way of the world.
100%. Yes. That's perfect.
I get. Okay, Drew, you've got a couple to offer up. What are you thinking?
So Anders, how about I can always trust Desicus to tell me the truth.
Ooh, yeah, I'm not sure if that's true, but
But I
But
think
it
it's
is-
true. Yeah, you're
it's an
babysitting me. You're
interesting-
helping me out. Yeah.
yeah. From your perspective, it's
Yep.
true. Yeah.
From a certain point of view. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Will, how about Anesh can help me pull off my next big gig?
Yeah. I did change out connections for wealth.
Oh,
To the money that she stole from the cartel when she fled. So I think that Inez can definitely be your backer. You know, that's perhaps where my money is tied up at the moment.
oh, I was actually just thinking you would know more about like the cantinas or the clubs or something like that.
Yeah,
And you could hook me up there because I'm not looking to make money. I'm just looking to see things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to put as mine, used to work with Drew Thal, so I'd say that we have performed together and somewhere along the circuit before our mutual paths ended up on Terrace, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was just playing music. I think at the time I was like a backup musician, but now I've got like a full DJ kind of job here.
Oh man. Is it too much if I ask if you were like a Finn cover band? What's the name of the? I've got
Max Rebo.
No, not Max Rebo. The Bith band. I can't remember. It was like
The modal notes.
Finn. Yeah, the modal notes. There we go. Figuring. I knew there was. I didn't have the gur in the middle. Like you were figuring Dan and the Modal Nodes cover band. Like that was what you were with earlier. Is that?
I think whenever I was the backup musician, we were definitely playing cover songs and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, so you've played a remix of Mad About Me so many times, as well as the Dune C special and the Modal Notes. These are canon. These are canon songs of Figured Dan. Oh, this makes me happy. I'm sorry. I don't know why I got so excited about that, but thank you for playing along. That's good. Okay, so then we have hooks with everybody. And let's see, Drew, yours was Inez has some connections I need to meet. Is that right?
That Inez can help him
Pull off the
in
next.
his career. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, okay. Perfect. All right. So we got our hooks. Does anyone have a move that kicks off at the start of session? I don't think so, but I'd rather double check.
Nope.
Okay. Cool. Well, I can't help myself because we're on Terrace. We're going to pick up at the upper city of Terrace, a difficult place to get to, especially for non-humans. But maybe Inez, how did you grease the wheels so that Drew could make his way up to the upper city dueling ring?
The one run by the Hook Cartel.
By Hajur the Hut, that's right.
And by Hajur the Hut
Cartel.
Yeah. I think I bribed people. You know, I just slipped some money, and I know how much that, like, for all the talk of loyalties and sympathies and everything, like a few credits in the right place have always been far more effective than even a trusty blaster by your side.
Nice. So we start off with some music playing, and the dueling ring is a lively place that has actual blaster duels. Majority of the duels, they're using these blasters have been modified to not actively kill. They're set to stun. And sometimes it's just who's the fastest gun. But oftentimes there are obstacle courses and there are people moving around in several different teams and the like. And I'm imagining it's a little gladiatorial pit, like in that the central area is this recessed down in, and they have all these things they can move up from the deck plates if they wanted to change the scenery. And we have a duel that's going on right now between a sly looking Deveronian and a man with this wide brim hat and a single long blaster pistol. And we know that he's a Montic Aegon, who's a professional duelist and an ex-bounty hunter. But we hear this really cool, funky music led by a Xantha player, Xantha's space guitar. You know, it's got some cool phonics to it, played by a Chiss, and she's the lead of this band. And Drew, what is your impression as you're being brought in by Inez? What's your impression of this funk styling of Sim and the band?
So it's technically competent. It's good music, but I don't think it meets the scene. I want to see, you know, if it were me who was running this place, I would put more excitement and more adrenaline into the shots that we're seeing with the competition going on. So like I'd start playing, you know, a real driving beat to make sure that the duelists who are out on the field looked exciting and get more and more people to bet.
Yeah. So that's running through your head, Drew. Maybe you've even mentioned it to Inez. Inez, you're in the heart of a hut place. He's got eyes everywhere, but this is the perfect place to gather the kind of information that you need to know. And how are you keeping a low profile, or are you doing the opposite?
Oh, that's tempting, isn't it? To be doing the opposite of keeping a low profile. Yeah, you know what? I am doing the opposite. I've come in and I've introduced myself. You know, like as Inez. You know, like, oh, Hajor knows me.
Nice.
Oh, he'll have heard. That'll be table for me. And no, I won't be checking my blasters. Thank you.
And for some reason, do we want to do we want to go ahead? Let's do it. So you come in, you're checking yourself in at the front, and I think you're meeting the guy at the front. You want to bring everything in. Let's see if he heard you were dead. So when you meet someone important, roll plus smooth. You just want to get some dice on the table.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this movie anyway.
What was it? The Chicago job or whatever it was that Snake Plissken's supposed to have died in. Thingy, yeah. No, it's Oklahoma City. It's Kansas City. That's it. Kansas City.
Kansas City. So I got to find in Zinja's Empire a place for you. the Emmer job.
Emmer job. It's plus smooth, right? Plus smooth.
It is.
Yes. So that's a 1. That's an 8. So on an 8, they recognize me. I can roll with something extra on my next roll dealing with them, and Hadger's bouncers, right? Like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hadger's bouncers. We have a Gamorrean who says, "Didn't you die on the Ember job?"
That was someone else.
He says, "Too dangerous. Give me those guns." What do you do about it?
I cut my head and I look over and I say, I thought this was a dueling rink.
Oh, so let's see if he lets it slide. I think you are. Oh, sorry, I'm re-familiarizing myself with.
I think I'm.
I think you're trying to get what you want, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I think so. But with a 7 to 9, they recognize you roll with something extra on your next roll dealing with them. So you get to roll 3d6, add your +1 smooth, and take the best 2.
Okay. Oof. 7.
Wow, squeak by. Thank goodness you get to discount that. 7 to 9, they either want what you're more than you're offering or insist on some kind of immediate assurance that you'll follow through with your offer. He says,
I'll sweeten the pot with some creds.
Okay, that's exactly what he was.
Yeah, because that's why I took the wealth move.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Cool. So now we have to figure out economics. Half of your 10 creds. Sounds good. You're giving him 10 space creds for now. Maybe he should have asked for more, but he's a Gamorrean. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
You decide how much of the credits is worth, because I just took the wealth move, and so I have 100 credits at the start of every session, basically. So I will
every
just
session. Then let's say it's 50 credits. You gotta. It's a huge
credits.
bribe, but this Gamorrean's he's put the word out. No one else will give you any stuff as long as you don't actually start trouble.
I would never dream of starting trouble, but I know how hard it is to run a club. You know.
If you'd failed, he was going to put you on the list for the dueling ring.
Oh well, I would have been up for the list of the dueling ring.
You can always volunteer. You can always volunteer.
So anyways, I need to listen to some of that. You hear that bit on the horn? Oh, so good. Out of my way.
He shuffles out of the way, and as you lead Drew in, Desiccus, you're already here. Are you investigating a hot lead, or have you been pulled into a high-stakes sabacc game? Or something else?
Sabacc game, definitely.
Nice.
But I'm probably also pursuing lead. But who can say no to some sabacc?
Who can? So you're here pursuing some kind of lead. I think in this sabacc game is a Ronnie Argent, who is an upper city socialite with connections below. She was very close friends with this opposition politician who now we must name because she's going to mention them, the person whose kid you say. So let's look at our names and species helpers. This is someone up top. They've got a human name. I think we're going to go Oh, I've used that name a bunch of times. I'm deleting that out. Okay. I think we're going to go with, what's a more, because if we say senator, I think of, Galactic Senate. So what's an official title for someone that's more planetary?
Be like planetary senator or something.
Sure.
Governor?
Be
Governor?
like state senator, planet senator.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Alderman.
Alderman is good.
There we
Yeah.
go. So we're gonna say that it's Alderman Akutagawa. There we go. I like that. Councilperson was a good one too, but we're gonna go with Alderman. Alderman Akutagawa, whose kidnapped kid that you saved, and of course, Arani Argent thinks favorably of you, at least for now, because you saved them. And is she the person that got you into this game, or did you get in? Okay.
Yeah, I think they invited me in, and I want to stay in their good graces, so I joined. And plus, Sabak is fun. So
Awesome. So you're playing with Arani and a few others who we may or may not define as we go, and you see that Drew and Inez very openly sitting at one of the tables with Drew, one of the few non-humans who's here, who isn't serving staff for the large hut, who's on one of those floating palanquins. And you see the Hajur, the hut, has his ever-present dancer, Oleander. She is wearing the well, let me check our we do have safety tools. I'm just double checking. Okay, not violating that. She does have a collar on. She's not actively pulling at the collar, it's just there.
And I think that's what Inez is pointing out to Drew. Saying, the huts, they can be patrons, but don't forget, they will always be your masters.
There's more than one way to have a chain around your neck.
Reaches under a coat, readies that blast. Yeah.
Cool. So who would like to scope out the scene? Because I think
I will.
Yeah, Drew, you're here. Music's not bad, but not what you'd imagine be most appropriate. And Inez is, I guess, here to piss people off. I think that's going to happen soon.
So let's look around and see what we see as far as the clientele and that kind of thing. Are they enjoying themselves? And this is with brains, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an 11.
Nice. So you get a good view of everything. Imagine that, much like Terrace, there are a couple of different levels. There's, of course, the dueling ring, which would be lower city. Then you're in the mid-tier with Inez, Drew, and then you see in the higher level, that's where the high-stakes sabacc table is with Desiccus, and then not far away from Desiccus is Hajur, the hut. So ask us some questions on a 10 plus. You get to hold 3. Would you like to lead off with?
Who knows more than they're letting on?
As you're scoping out the place, you notice that Gamorrean, who seemed to be perfectly fine taking his bribe, that he whispers in the ear of one of the servants. And after that happens, that servant makes a beeline up to speak with a droid that makes their way up to talk to Hajur. And Hajur plays it cool, but Hajur is aware that Inez is in the place. And he even mentions something to the droid. You can see that they're eyes on Inez, which maybe is exactly what she wanted.
Next question is, what's the fastest escape route out of here?
There are doors that close in the dueling ring, but at any point between duels, those doors are open and will give you very quick egress from the place. You just have to jump down into the pit and make a run for it. And then that Gamorrean near the original opening doors is probably your second best option.
And is there anything hidden here?
I'm trying to think from your point of view there as a fish out of water. I think you catch view up in the upper levels that one of the servants steps around and you see that there's a hidden door there, and they just step in, and it seems like it's a easy way to get between the levels without being seen.
And it's like it's behind that. Is that like a private room or something like that?
Yeah.
I think I lean over to Inez and I'm like, well, honey, I think you've drawn a little bit of attention around here. The boss might or might not be too happy to see you. I don't know. And I'm going to get up and I'm going to saunter up like I belong and, go up to the bar. Now, we've seen this in movies before. This isn't the smooth, like, detective walking up. This is the kid who thinks he's smooth and kind of leans up against the bar and smiles and everything and then gets taken, right? Gets, you're like, oh, yeah, give me the blue milk. And they're like, oh, yeah, sure. And they put a little umbrella in it and all of that. Yeah.
Nice. Yes. So you turn around with the blue milk with the umbrella, looking not nearly as suave and debonair as you had hoped. Drew, after you slide up to the bar, there's a female Deveronian. Now, Deveronians have male to female canon wise. The males look like devils, kind of sort of horns, but the females actually have like a light fur, occasionally with freckles. And this Deveronian, she has a pair of spots, like her horns either never grew in or she's removed them. If you want to see a pic of what she looks like, it's F12.
Oh, fantastic.
On the terrace NPCs in places. And she comes up and says, "You're Drew, right?"
I am.
Oh. I hadn't heard that Hajur had secured your services. I'm a fan.
Oh, he hasn't secured my services yet, but I'm glad to hear you're a fan. Would you like a autograph?
Actually, maybe I'd like something a little more memorable. What are you doing tonight if you're not playing?
Well, I'm here with some friends. Did you want a private performance? I don't think I brought my instrument with me. I might need to go back out to the car to get it.
And is Drew trying to get anything out of this interaction right now?
He's trying to, basically he thinks, oh, this is a fan and I need to make sure that I get proper fan service, right? That I'm, and I'm trying to lean a little bit into the double entendre where it seems like she's hitting on me and he doesn't realize it.
Nice.
Yeah. And
so
I don't see a picture in F12.
Are you looking in terrace NPCs in places?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at NPCs.
Yeah, I need to hide that because that's confusing. So I'll hide the
it.
NPCs because we're just going to be using the terrace folks. That's what I get for doing work ahead of time, and then we go in a totally different place. So do you see now? I can actually give you. Okay.
We went in a totally different place because you said to go anywhere.
I know. I'm not complaining.
No,
I'm fussing at old me. That's all. Yeah, she hears what you're saying about, hey, I'll go out to my vehicle to get my instrument. And she says, oh, you will? Well, let's go.
And I think I'm just excited that, I've run into somebody who likes my music and, I'm going to head out. And, yeah, I figure that you probably rented a speeder or something like that, Inez, for the night,
Yes.
or just to get here. So I'll go out to the parking area and I think I pop the trunk and pull out like a case, right? And I say, let's go back in. And, do you think that Hajiro will let me play? And, yeah.
Nice. Okay, so this is completely genuine, Drew. No entendres whatsoever. You are like, and you go into the boot or the trunk there and pull out and there's a moment where she's like, wait, oh, you actually, okay, that's all right then. Let's cut to Dessicus. What is Dessicus? Is Dessicus here to make some serious cash, to be seen by others, or to try to get some information?
She's here for information, and I think the reason she accepted the invite to the gaming table is that the person she's looking to get something out of is also playing.
Nice.
So, it was a lucky break that the older man was there and invited her to the game.
Nice.
Or maybe that was planned. Maybe she knew they'd be there, but yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're trying to get some information from someone you think has committed a crime that you're investigating?
I think they know something about what's going on, but I don't think they're a suspect.
Okay.
It's someone who knows something.
Nice. So let's say that you're directly across the table from a human, so he fits in here, named Kevin. And Kevin Brezic is the current leader of a swoop gang. And he knows a good bit about things that are going on in Middle City. So he says, looking at his cards, hermit, right? You found the alderman's kid. The imps are not very happy with you. Lays down his cards. It's like 6 down.
Well, I'm not here to make them happy. That's not my job.
Arani laughs slightly. Oh, it is always best to make them at least a little happy, darling. You should be careful.
What's fun about being careful? And I think she raises the bet.
Nice. So I'm gonna ask Will here, what kind of crime is Dessicus investigating?
I think another kidnapping.
Another kidnapping.
Yeah, I think maybe like an illegal slaving operation.
I like it.
No, not like illegals. Like kidnapping and like blackmail and stuff, but like an interplanetary sort of like ring of human trafficking kind of thing. Like people get snatched here, they get moved around, they go whatever, right? It's bigger than you can imagine. And of course the Empire is like, no such thing could possibly exist within Imperial space.
Exactly. That's right. All the humans are perfectly safe. I like it. That is great. So Dessicus, you are investigating what may be a interplanetary smuggling, basically a trafficking operation. And that's why the guy who's involved in the hidden becks might be a good resource for you. So Inez, as you lose Drew just heads up to get a blue milk. You see a girl hit on him pretty heavy. The two of them are leaving. He seems excited. She seems eager. You also see that there's an Umbaran female, gray-skinned, hairless. She slides after them, like she's shadowing the two of them. Drew doesn't seem to be quite aware of what's going on. And you also, that duel is finished up. The famous Montic Aegon was victorious over a pair of young and upcoming duelists. So things are starting to shuffle around. We're in between matches. And you see that there are a couple of rougher looking individuals who are making their way towards you. What are you doing, Nez? These rougher individuals not dressed in the livery of the dueling ring. They don't look like they're officials of any kind. They don't look like Stormies either. But you know their type. They're thugs. Working off the books. So
the books coming towards me.
Yeah, coming towards you. So Hajor has plausible deniability for anything that might happen to you.
I am going to head them off and to get into the dueling ring.
Oh, nice.
And I'm gonna put the stakes as I bet my life. So isn't it like if I win, Hajor, never mind this deniability or whatever, right? That Hajor is supposed to keep me alive, basically.
Ooh, that's wild. Let's. I don't see why.
I think my whole motivation about coming here was to sort of like poke the hornet's nest and really get up in their face and see what shakes out, kind of thing, you know.
I like it.
Like,
so you jump down into the dueling ring? Is that a?
Yeah.
Do you imagine you just like jump down into the dueling ring and lay off a challenge? Send me your worst.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah, I'll grab the hovering droid, you know, with the microphone that was just speaking to Morden and you know, singing his praises, and I'll just like, as it goes like, I'll grab it and I'll go like, people of the Hajor's dueling ring, welcome. My name is Inez, and I'm here to take the crown of the pitmaster and to get Hajor the Hutt's blessing for my time in this city.
Man, that's awesome. There's a pause. Desicus, you're in the middle of a very intense match, and you hear Inez lay down that challenge.
I'm gonna say, you know, this is because we all know that Hajor the Hutt has many things to hide, but nothing to fear, right?
Eyes swing up to Hajor the Hutt, the rotund host of the dueling ring. I'd like to see you. It's definitely, I want to see a role for this. This sounds fun. And I think I guess you're trying to get what you want, right?
I think I am, yeah. And the leverage is purely like, I've made this public, so he has to save some face, essentially.
Yes,
here, right?
that is definitely a very logical result you've threatened. So let's see how this goes.
And I think I'm using a blaster to solve a problem or overcome an obstacle here, because I am
You
using
are.
my blasters to do that.
We're
So
hoping to.
yeah, the vigilantes are very gun forward playbook, has to be said. So I'm allowed to roll something extra with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it. Good luck.
That is an 11.
Well, with an 11, they'll do it, but you have to pay the price you offered.
Which
So
just means I have to fight and beat Mordant Montix Aegon in the ring.
Inez, you have bitten off more than you can chew. You will fight Aegon, and don't worry, I'll put your corpse on display because you will not defeat him.
Spin the pistols out.
Montish Aegon steps out of the back area, sizes you up. It's that thing where like the brim of the cap covers most of his face, kind of. Well, you want to just go quickest draw? Do you want to fiddle with obstacles? Twilight girl.
In a quick draw. I mean, what privilege to see the blasters before they fire at you, yes? I think we should do this the old way. Let's use this ring the way it's meant to be used. And I'm calling for like, you know, a running gun battle, basically, with the doves, perhaps. Coming up in the scene.
There has
Yeah.
to be white
Yeah.
Minox flying through the sky because I have to clean.
I'm imagining like that, you know, like the blue Star Wars force, the red Star Wars force field, like flickering in over top of the pit kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
As like, and then like things like out of the walls and the side, like creating a sort of like battle sphere kind of thing that's open at the top so that the audience can see where you're running around. It's a bit like in Call of Duty, there's an arena that you respawn into every time you die, basically.
Nice. Yeah. And so we're clear, like this is fighting to the death.
Fighting, I think that I definitely I don't think I have to kill Montish, but I think that the bet is my life, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I just want to make sure we're on the same page before.
Yeah.
before
Montish
we
is
go
definitely
to
going to kill
vote.
me. I may leave Montish alive because I think he's a cool NPC, metagame
Cool.
wise, you know?
All
Or
right.
badly wound him.
That sounds good. Sweet. So Descus, you see all this happening. What are you doing? Like, do you want to halt the game, the Sabak game, until this fight's over? Are you guys going to keep playing through? Which means you may miss something important going on with your ally, if not friend.
I think, but I figure Inez, she can take care of herself. She knows what she's doing. So I think I'll try to use the distraction of this spectacle to get a better read on this swoop gang.
Okay. Go ahead.
So is there a move or?
Oh, you want to get a read on somebody? That's a great question. So you're not acting through violence or the threat of violence, so you're not getting in his face. But I think you're scrutinizing someone while interacting with them. So go ahead and give them the 3rd degree. Does that feel right to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's perfect. So the roller, 2 dice. And that's brains, right?
It is.
I'm actually good at it. But that's a 6. I'm I'm good at it, but not today.
All right. I believe it's XP on a miss in this game. So go ahead and mark yourself an XP.
Well, that's something.
It is something. Now, I think I just get to make a move. So I will, yeah, you're trying to scrutinize, and Kevin Brezic he's more interested in this duel to the death right now. So perhaps we put a hold on the game. And Arani agrees, and then we cut away from you. So Drew, you open up the boot, show off your cool horn, and you turn around to show it to her, and she's on you, man. She's like just slides her arms around you, starts to kiss you, which, yeah, I'm not sure how, like, what part you kiss of a Bith's face, but she's got it figured out. What do you do?
I think in shock, I like, dropped the part of the horn, that I was holding on to back into the trunk. Yeah. And I'm like, you're more are you not interested in the music, or
Does the top go up on your speeder?
no, but I did see a private room back inside. We could go inside and see if we couldn't find a place more private.
All right. So it sounds like you're trying to get what you want here.
Oh yeah.
Let's have you roll plus smooth.
Smooth. Okay. That's a 10.
Nice. Okay, on a 10, they'll do it. And it says pay the price you offer, which means she fully expects that, she's going to be able to do a groupie thing with the person that she's a big fan of. So you guys turn, when you start to head back from this small little parking area, you see that there's this Umbaran woman who's doing the Jedi mind trick of just like put a hood on so you don't notice her, but you totally pick her out. It's weird. But she's been watching the two of you, and this woman who introduced herself, by the way, says, I'm Elisar, by the way, Drew, a big fan. And she follows you in. She doesn't seem to pay any attention to the Umbaran who's watching over the two of you like a total creeper.
And yeah, so I think I probably notice the Umbaran woman, but I am focused on getting back inside the bar with Elisar, and I think we see the big 70s zoom in of this woman is important, and yeah,
Totally.
yeah,
Good.
so I think
right.
whenever I walk back into the bar, I see this big fight is broken out, right?
Yeah, you see the big duel is about to go down with the person who brought you here, whose speeder you came in.
And she's got my I think she's going to be able to help me get my next big gig, right? And maybe this is the place. So I'm like, maybe I think I tell Elisar, I'm like, you want to hear some real music? And I'm going to sit off to the side. I'm going to say, come here. We'll take like a seat at a table that has a pretty good view. And I open up my case, and I'm going to pull out my clue horn and start playing, trying to I think it starts out as something just for her.
Nice.
And slowly diverges into, I'm going to try to actually blend this in with the rest of the band, but I'm going to, start putting in a faster beat to make it more exciting for the rest of them to do more like what I said when we first walked in. Perfect. So this duel draws the adrenaline out of the crowd. Yeah.
So you're sitting out a fight and playing an inspiring tune to fire up your friends while performing. Everyone on the team rolls with something extra and gains the area trait for their melee attacks. Now, we're not doing melee attacks in the duel. Probably not, but that is wild. Probably not. This is good. We have some fun here. So Descus, there's still a hard move sitting on the table for you. And yeah, I think there we go. I think what happens, Descus, is as they break on the game and you're trying to decide, do I watch this? What do I do? You feel something pressed against your back, and there's a woman who comes up from behind you. She's wearing this, like the bottom half of her face is covered with this kind of breathing mask. Has a couple of little hoses coming out of it. You know that this is one of the duelists here, but she works for the Black Sun. And she leans in. You need to come with me, or I'll blow a hole in you so big there's no way you'll survive. Desica's hermit. What do you do?
Can I finish the hand first? I'm winning here.
No. This hand is not for you. I'll deal you something else. Come along.
Oh, well.
And you realize that Ronnie Argan is pretending not to see this. Cavan, he's a little torn. What do you do?
Well, I think I'll toss my cards on the table and stand up, and very well then. I'll follow the stranger with a creepy voice into the back room, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. And she is headed, sure enough, for that room that that Drew had spied earlier, as Inez steps into the dueling ring, and you hear Drew's music playing, Inez, and everything becomes a little bit more lively. That Xantha player is trying to keep up with Drew. And yeah, Drew, I think that Sim's group, there are a couple of Bith among them, and they jump right into the rhythm that you're having. So you're slowly taking over that group by outplaying a number of them, which means, Inez, you get to roll with something extra. So let's take a look. What are we doing here? I think you're trading blow. Well, that's in melee.
I mean,
Is it?
Hey, it's blast them, right? Blast them.
Oh, shoot. I'm dumb. Yes, I looked right past blast them 3 times. To take aim and attack an enemy at range, roll plus hustle. So that long bit where the two of you are down in these corridors, and I imagine that it's like similar to here, right? You've got those weird elliptical lights that cast all kinds of different shadows along the two of you.
I'm imagining that like Montish is like standard, like, you know, duelist gunman, kind of like hand at his waist, like just standing stock still as like all the lights and everything goes around. But Inez is like waving to the crowd, like dancing, curtsying, you know, like spinning around with the guns and everything. And then the second that like the alarm goes like to go and fight, right, we both just break. And now we're picking each other out among this, stalking each other through this sort of terrain. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, So do I? Do I roll with something extra? Did you say?
You do,
Or-
because you're inspired by the music played by your buddy Drew Thal.
but that. Oh, it rolls with something extra and gains the area trait for
Yeah.
the melee attacks. Cool. Well, I already have area trait for my pistols as long as I have 2 pistols. 'Cause
Exactly.
that's literally, my whole playbook is
That's
pistols.
your
Apparently.
whole thing.
Yeah. So that is a 10.
Oh, of course it
I
would be.
have a clear shot. I deal damage. I think Montic, does get off the first shot because he is the faster draw, right?
Mhm, mhm.
But what he shoots is like my reflection in a mirror.
Oh,
Instead. Yeah. And as he spins around, like.
nice.
And that's where we see the white Minox fly out, is that shattering mirror and that.
Yeah.
That's
As
so good.
your horn reaches a crescendo, right? Like.
Everything slows down slow-mo, and the glass is still falling, and we see like 1,000 Inezes, and then all the white Minox come flying from behind the mirror. Like, what does even this mean? Who knows? It's 70s, the spirit of 77, and they fly up behind you as your twin gun John Woo style, boom, 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 and you take down Montic Aegon.
Yeah.
That
I
is
think it's like shot in the shoulder. He rolls, shoot him in the leg, goes down. He's still holding up his gun, and then it's like, and then Ed's just going to walk over and kick the other gun away.
nice. And I think that's a thing where he looks up and he goes, "Well, it was a good run." He closes his eyes, waiting to get his head blown off.
And I pull the blaster right point out, and I look up at Hajor, and waiting for the whole like thumbs up, thumbs down
thumbs
thing.
up, thumbs down.
And I imagine Hajor is like, kill him kind of thing.
Of course.
And Inez is just gonna smile, wink. Yeah. And Inez just smiles, slides the gun back inside, and says, "But he is a famous Montic Aegon. It would be a crime to kill such a good gun duelist." And I'll pat Montic on his cheek as I bow to the crowd,
And they cheer, and they like Montic, right? So the idea of him surviving and 2 great duelists coming out, you could potentially sway the crowd here, but I think you're going to need to sway the crowd. Otherwise, he's going to press the issue. Hajur is going to press the issue. Because, well, the thing is, you've just embarrassed him. And he doesn't want Montic to survive this because he blames Montic. So how do you want to deal with this?
I don't know. So how does it look like? Is he going to send in some goons to do it, or is he just going to keep whining at me to do it? Because I'm just not going to do it if he just keeps.
You're not going to do it. So I think it's a thing where he's going to, like, he looks over to that droid, protocol droid that he uses as it, and then it's going to have one of his thugs shoot Montic.
The door
kind of the
opens
moment in Thunderdome, right? Where he's like,
Yeah.
"No, I'm not going to kill Blaster." And so dude walks up and shoots him with dual crossbow.
Yeah. The door shoot open, right? And those thugs from earlier, perhaps.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Standing there, with their pikes, right? And they start walking over to Monchik, who's like, shakes his head like, "Oh, good run, but you can't stop this." And I'm gonna kick up Montic's gun, grab it and fire, and I'm gonna do a wake-up call. When you fire a warning shot to get your target's attention, roll plus hustle, and a stip on a hit, they stop what they're doing. So I am gonna fire the gun directly into the force field and have the ricochet like
Oh man,
all the way
that's
around
awesome.
the room.
Cool.
So let's see how that
You
goes.
get to roll that with something extra because Drew's still playing for you, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at it's all in the reflex. When you use a blaster to solve a problem or overcome an obstacle, and it's like I could pretty much always roll.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're always rolling. So Drew, you don't have to be playing in.
Well, in that case,
I will say that I think that I'm not going to use that when it's just fighting, because I don't think that solving a problem or overcoming an obstacle is fighting. Otherwise, I'd just roll something extra every fight we get into, which I don't think is. I think it steps on Drew's
That's
bard
true.
moves too much, you know. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, Stephen. I just wanted to clarify how I interpret that rule.
No, that's fine. That's good.
You were saying, do you want to do something other than sing?
No, I think I'm good here. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I will see if I can sate the hut with my hustle.
Mm-hmm.
So 12 again. Yeah, when you play a min-max character who can deal with everything with a gun.
It's great. It's good.
Yeah, well, that's
It's
the
good.
spirit of 77, isn't it? You can still solve everything with your gun.
Yes.
On a
it's
hit, they
very
stop what they're doing. On a 10 plus, they're also shaken.
nice.
So I think that is that like ricochet, and it like explodes one of the the vibro pikes in his hand.
Oh yeah, I love that. So explodes the vibro pike. Those guys are cowed a little bit, and Montic looks up and he says, "I guess I better find a new job." And he's gonna fire at one of those guys, and basically he's gonna try to get the hell out of here.
Oh yeah, and Ez drops his gun into his hand and then just steps back and goes like, "Well, our duel is over. Good luck."
Nice. I like it. We cut to Dessicus. As soon as you step into that private room, a guy punches you in the face, Dessicus. And I imagine it staggers you just a little bit. You see that it is a male Twi'lek. And after he clocks you, let's have you take a big hit. Yeah. You're hit in combat and shrug off the damage. Roll plus might.
Yeah, I am terrible at that because my might is a -1. I'm not the Sam Spade kind of detective who just gets beat up until they solve the case. So that's a 5. But I think that just means I take the damage, right?
Yeah. So on a miss, you suffer the full effect of the hit.
Yeah.
We'll say that it's a couple harm. So you'll go to 2 harm from that punch. And when you stagger into the room a little bit, the door closes behind you. Smiley, the female gunslinger who threatened you, she's standing there and she holsters her weapon. And the male Twi'lek, he ranges around and says, "Listen, just take this beating and it won't get too ugly." And he's going to punch you again.
Could I use my fame on him? See if he's a fan.
Sure. Cool. So you're using
That's my thang.
your thang. Okay. So how does it work with using your thang? Okay. Roll plus soul. There we go. We've got a move in there. Awesome.
That's a 10.
Okay. So how is it that you use your fame to
I think
cow
this
this
is
guy? Yeah.
like he recognizes me and he thinks I did a good thing, like saving the kid and showing up the imps.
Mm-hmm.
But what I just wanted to try to see what happens. So I roll with something extra on my next social move with. So first I need to take the hit from his punch. That's gonna happen.
Yeah. This one though, you're ready for it, so I think it's 1 harm coming your way. Go ahead and roll plus might again. Good luck.
Yeah. So I got a 7 this time, which means I either take half the harm -1, or I
Minimum
take no
1.
harm and you pick one. So yeah, I take the harm.
Okay. Okay. Yes, in half the harm, minimum 1, so you take the harm.
Did I add the harm to the wrong person before?
So you're at 3 harm now,
Yeah.
and I think he recognizes you after that second hit, and you see there's a moment where he feels just a little guilty, like he was told do this thing, and now you're like, oh, it's you. So there's a bit of shock on his face. This is evidently like a private room where maybe they play some high stakes sabacc out of the eyes of others, but no one else is here. Like they've cleared the place out. You see that there's a little lift that the servants use to go up and down between the levels. But it's just you and these two. And he says, you got to get your nose out of Black Sun business.
All right. I get the message. Just you can make this look good without hurting my face, right?
And there's a moment where you realize whoever this Twi'lek guy is, he might have just let it go at anything, like at what he's already done. But he glances over at Smiley, and she just taps the holster on her blaster as if to say, if you don't do something, I'm going to do something. He says, yeah. And then he's going to hit you in the gut. And
May I interrupt?
You could
I was going to say, well, this is the time whenever Elisar was like, oh, all over me. And I think this is the time whenever I open the door and I have these two people look like this is the room that I thought was safe for the two of us to go to. Like,
okay,
this is the hot makeout room. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. We'll say that it's the hot makeout room. The door opens up. You see Smiley's back. She spins around and puts a gun in your face. And you see Desiccus and this Twi'lek guy has just hit her in the gut. And Ella says, "What? Get out of here! God!" And the woman who has a gun in your face, she narrows her eyes. "Whatever you say, Elisar." And holsters her weapon. And the Twi'lek guy, he shoves you aside, Desiccus, and then the two of them leave. And there you are, Drew. You see Desiccus is been beaten up a little bit, roughed up. What do you do?
Oh, and I'm like, oh, I kind of look at Elisar and I'm like, oh, I thought this was a private room. And I kind of wander over to Desiccus and I'm like, I think I pull out like a little handkerchief and kind of wipe his mouth because she's got a little bit of blood there, wipe her mouth a little bit. And I'm like, who were those people?
They're bad people you don't want to know about is what I think.
And Elisar says, she hangs back, and that Umbaran woman comes and pulls her aside. And she says, Drew, I'll catch up with you. And then the door closes, and it's just
I think Drew, turns around and is like, what? No, Elisar. Yeah.
The door closes, and she looks a little sad, but also realizes, oh, this is a bad scene. So she's been pulled away from you. Let's cut back real quick to Inez. So Montic is trying to get out of here. At this point, he's been deposed as the dueling champion by you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much longer I want to spend on the scene, really, here in this duel, because I feel like I've won the
we
fight.
We can skip
I've
past it. Yeah, you won the fight. Like, you got the thing. So
I'd like Montic to just do his own badass thing and
sounds awesome. Yeah.
Maybe he grabs that droid, right, and wrenches something out, and the droid lets out a squeal, and he gets rocketed out through the force field. And
that sounds
this guy
amazing.
off into the streets of Taris, leaving just Inez smirking at Hajor for having very publicly disgraced him at the same time as betting that her life, in terms of, she now has she's a made woman in the streets of Taris thanks to this bet, right? If that works, because that was really what I was going for, was
really,
I
love it.
Really piss him off and gain some kind of well, you can't come after me because Hajor publicly said that he'd vouch for my safety in Taris. That was the bet, right?
Yeah, it's gonna. So no one in her cartel is gonna openly come after you right now, unless Hajur is willing to break his word. That sounds.
And
Sounds
you know,
like a nice angle.
from the other scenes, it sounds as though Inez's idea that this trafficking ring is cartel related may be complicated by the fact that Black Suns are the ones who are actually involved in it. So who knows where tags actually ended up, right? Like,
Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows indeed. Cool. Is there anything more? So I think we got Inez. You've gotten what you wanted. Do you stay at the dueling ring, or are you just good with that particular scene?
I'm good with that particular scene. I think I'd like to meet up with wherever Drew went. Like to compliment, to say like, his music's really come a long way since last we played. And then
Nice.
maybe see the patching up Dessicus with the thing.
I like that. Cool. So yeah, maybe let's just do like a last scene. You guys pull Deskis out of the dueling ring. Maybe you're headed back to Inez's speeder. The three of you meet back up again. Yeah, we'll just do that as our tag scenes. Do you guys want to play through anything like exchange of information type deal?
I think I'm leaning on Drew quite heavily as we walk out, and I think, yeah, I'll mention that. Yeah, Black Sun really don't like when you snoop around their business. That's obvious.
Black Sun. I thought this was what are Black Sun doing in a cartel operation?
Beating up poor innocent private detectives, apparently.
I don't know anything about Black Sun. Why, maybe we should just get out of here.
Maybe. Good music, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. Did you see that girl I was with? And Drew kind of starts to look around.
And Inez will smile and say, like, "Oh, there is always if you're going to be a good musician, there'll be plenty of girls, Drew."
Yeah.
Yes, you one day you'll be at some. I can see you being you have groupie magnets written all over you. And maybe hop into my rented speeder and look out at Dacicus and say, "Give you a ride?"
Yes, please. I need to lie down and rest for a bit, I think.
Oh, well. Drew will play some soft music while you tell me everything you know about Black Sun here on Taris. And drive off with the music, the horn raising up in the background, right? Or like the bass drop, like waka 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 dong dong.
Oh, that sounds fun. Are you guys good with that being our closing scene for our brief little? All right, that sounds fun. I don't think there's any end of session stuff.
It is. Did you explore your hooks?
Oh yeah,
you get an XP for that. Did you make movement on your motivation? You're getting an XP for that as well.
And it's just 1 XP for hooks, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so Descus, did you play out any of your hooks?
I don't think so. It was Drew who got me out of trouble rather than me keeping him out of trouble, and I didn't really interact with an S in any way that makes sense for my hooks. I think.
Oh, that stinks. All right, we'll have to do our best to do that. And then, did you pursue your buzz?
I think so. It's grills.
So
yeah.
All right. Drew, did you play through any of your hooks? Play to any of your hooks?
So I think this was an audition for my next big gig, right?
Absolutely.
So I think maybe I did that.
And then did you hit your motivation, your buzz?
Adventure. You seek new experiences and you want to see the galaxy and everything it has to offer. Boy, it sure would have been cool to have seen.
Pulling a groupie into a back room, I think that's gotta count.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure. I like it. Cool. So that's 2 XP for you. And then Inez, Did any of your hooks come to play?
Yeah, I think at the very end there, Dessicus knows things I need, so we work together.
Good. And then
Because I was trying to work towards like, why are we actually going to do things together? Kind of thing.
there you go.
And I think I did pursue my payback, my score to settle, and somebody is going to pay with blood.
Blood.
Yeah.
Good. All right. That'll be 2 XP for you. Let's take a quick 2-minute break here, and then we'll do stars and wishes. All right. See you
Cool.
in a bit. Sweet. So we will finish things up with stars and wishes. We start with wishes so we can end with stars. Who'd like to go first with wishes?
I can go first. My wishes would be for some proper kicking down doors, taking names, 70s kind of oh, you're gonna talk, punk. Oh, it's gonna, you know what I mean? Like real kind of hunting down. And I like this idea of this human trafficking ring that maybe targeted Alderman Aku Tagawa's family as well, and the blurred lines between the cartel and Black Sun and the Imperials, and real sort of I want to imagine the bass line slapping as we go through all this stuff, basically, and I want to imagine it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But unified, get all the PCs bought into a similar goal kind of thing, because we're disparate, right? But there's a reason that the Rocker's hanging out with the thing beyond just career ambitions of knowing somebody in the music, right? Otherwise you just sit at home and sip and practice your instrument rather than go and get shot at. But yeah, that's my wish.
Thank you, Will. So Stephen or Anesh, who'd like to go next with wishes? Okay,
I'll go, which is, I think that Drew is definitely going to be very much not used to danger, but so I think it's, he's just going to get wrapped up in all of this craziness that's going on. As far as a wish, I'd like to see the cops get involved, right? Because we have to have cops. So I think this would be stormtroopers or something like that. Like low-level cops, we're going to come after you with the business, and yeah.
There's a whole subsystem for heat that I think I'm gonna assign some heat to you guys from what just happened type deal. So I will definitely hit that. I also want stormtroopers to be, the boys in white and annoying and in your way.
That could be the kicker. At the end when, as we drove away, we could see there were stormtroopers there writing down our license plate number or something. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else, Stephen?
No, I think that's it.
Nadesh, do you have any wishes for me? Or the others?
I think maybe one way to pull Drew into this is to make it personal in some way. We discovered that one of the people who have been kidnapped by this slaving ring is someone he knows or is related to or something. That could make him more invested in.
Oh, that's good. Any wishes that you had?
No, I don't think so. I just want to see where things go.
Okay.
I hope we get a good tie-in for fourth character next session.
I agree.
Could be that we go to them for help. We need your skills for this or something.
A very special set of skills. Awesome. Kick us off, Lundish, with any stars. Do you have any stars from today's session?
Yeah, I like this a lot. I really liked Drew's naive reaction to that was a lot of fun, and MS just jumping in and kicking ass. That was also great to see. And I like this, just setting up something. You did a great job of setting up something on the fly that's just suitable for our character. So that was really good.
Thanks. Awesome. Stephen, any stars?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure, exactly how the story would go and what it would kind of look like with it being, Spirit of 77. But it felt very Star Warsy and yet still had that almost pulp kind of thing of like, the, action movies of the 70s or something like that. So yeah, I'm kind of digging where this is going. That'll be good. I was also pretty surprised. I was like, I wasn't sure how well a rocker would fit in, and we have all these, a lot of the playbooks are all like, I'm the, the guy who just beats people up or shoots people and that kind of stuff. And seeing Inez come back, that made a lot of sense and that fit really well. And then the other character that we have is like the detective, and I'm like, that's great.
Mhm.
I love seeing these characters together. That'll be great. So
Yeah, it is a fun juxtaposition of tropey 70s stuff that I quite like when it works well in a PBTA game. So I'm right there with you. Will, did you have any stars?
Just for us all rolling with, I think we fumbled our way towards a shared, purpose, party, theme, place, etc. Right? Because we're all sort of came in with a very broad. It's the Spirit of 77, the game. Where are we setting it? What we're doing? Here are some characters working it all together, and the Vigilante is a very razor focused playbook. The more I'm looking at it, all the moves are basically shoot something. But like I'm enjoying the latitude that you've allowed me to have in using those moves to do things, and the buy-in of having I like the PI, the weird PI with the quirky sort of traits, and the musician who's going to be pulled in way over his head, but is going to be like, the solid, like the heart of the party kind of thing, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to thinking of everything in terms of like, Technicolor, kind of like faded
Yes.
faded Technicolor.
Yes, I'm going for like the shaggy, use all the tropes. Like I'm kind of happy, but also kicking myself that I've already fired the bullet of you've gotten too close, so someone comes up, beats up on the PI. I've already done it. So
That's perfect. I mean, we've only got 4 sessions to do this in, right? So you need to get it earlier on. Yeah.
Might as well just jump it in. That's what I thought. It was like, oh, I got a hard move. Yes, I'm gonna do the thing. You're too close. I'm warning you to not do this thing.
Yeah.
Good.
I like
yeah.
the idea of having like shag carpet in here. I want to see shag carpet in the 70s and
I was just
disco
thinking
ball.
Shaggy, like framing with scenes, but now I want shag carpet. So
the speeder has to be like shaggy carpets, right? Like and little
totally.
Dangling disco balls or whatever. In
yeah.
So that's another star I have to admit, Rich. I was looking through some of the NPCs, and I think it was on the old NPC tab. We had a bunch of bands there, and there was a Wookiee drummer who
Yes.
shaves his legs from the knee down to provide hair for the lead singer. I'm like, that's awesome.
It's awesome. I cannot claim that. That was in a Burning Hearts game, Burning Hearts Forever game that I put out. Like I think the lead singer is a Ratataki who wears wigs, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Sawyer's like, yes, and the hair for the waist comes from this giant Wookiee who's the drummer, and he shaves. I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty delightful and wonderful. I'm glad you liked it too. Who knows? Maybe they'll show up at some point. But for now, we're on Terrace, so we'll focus there. Thank you guys so much for playing. I look forward to bringing in Greg to this shaggy bit of craziness in our Star Wars world. Appreciate the opportunity to play with y'all on a Sunday that I call a Saturday. And with that, we'll bring our session to a close.